Welcome back, everybody. Today we're painting Brannog from Zombicide's Green Horde. So join me at the table. So I started off with the flesh wash from the army painter, and this of course covers up his flesh. And I also primed this in barbarian flesh to start off with. So I move on to his fur cape, and I used rigid leather from D&D's marvelous Pigments paint set by the army painter. And on the artwork, it's very dark, his cloak, but I kind of liked more this brown, and I found that the just suited him better. I try and put a darker tone wash later on to help it get darker. It does work, but I mean, normally you'd probably use like a dark gray, maybe even black, and then do a highlight of gray on it. Hey, if you'd like to save money, visit www.multizone.ca. Use promo code Easterling and you can purchase Pokemon, Magic, Warhammer, board games, card games, all sorts of stuff. That's multizone.ca and use promo code Easterling and you will save 10% on your purchase. Then I move on to the Army Painter's Leather Brown from the Black Plague Zombicide set. And this is for the socks kind of thing, like his leather armor parts above his boots and some of his straps. Now I'm using Pale Flesh from the Green Horde set from the Army Painter. And I actually use this because I noticed his hammer had a bit of purple on the hilt as well as around the sides of the top of the hammer and that. And his armor on his chest as well, like his chest plate, was a little bit purple, not very dark. And I found Pale Flesh was perfect for that. So here I go using that contrast or gun to fur, and this is for his belt, and the highlights really pop with the barbarian flesh on this one. So it saves a lot of trouble of thinning out your paints and all that, which is something I'm going to eventually try out with a medium and actually create other kinds of contrast paint just with regular paint. And as you can see, like, it gets into the recesses really nicely, and the barbarian flesh comes out a little bit lighter on the things that come out. So I use this also on the hilt of his axe, or hammer's warhammer, I guess. Then to finish off his hammer, so the interior parts, I use Vallejo's flat brown. Then I move on to one of the Metallics war paints by the armor painter, Weapon Bronze. And I use this on his boots, because they are armored boots, and they weren't gold. So I figured this would be nice, because he does have some gold stuff on him, and I figured this one would just be like a darker gold. It's Weapon Bronze. Right now I move on to Silver by Vallejo Model Colors, and this is for his chainmail. Now in the artwork, it looks like he's got like a blue shirt instead, so I will put a blue tone on the chainmail later to get that same blue effect, and I do use it also on the end of his hammer. So now I'm going to do a little bit of highlighting on his skin with Cobalt Skin. And this brings out like the recesses that'll be a bit darker, and his muscles, fingers, nose, stuff like that will come out a little bit more highlighted. Now the artwork on this dwarf has him having really bright orange hair, so I went with this orange color, I think it's Clear Orange it's called, by Vallejo's Paints, and it gave me exactly what I wanted for his hair, especially later on with the wash. I'm using Bleached Skull from D&D's Marvelous Pigments paint set, and as the army painter, and this is just for his teeth and to try to get his eyeballs a little bit. Then we're going to move on to Army Painter's Bright Gold from the Zombicide Black Plague paint set. Always hard to say all those paint sets. And this is for all the little bling on his hammer, on his belt, and as well as I do his leather armor, because I noticed there was some goldish coloring on the artwork, so I do all the little lines in between. So this is where I use the blue tone wash from the Army Painter, and I cover up that plate mail, or chain mail, sorry. And then I'm going to use a shade from Citadel Colors, which is Cryptic Armor Shade Gloss. And this is where I used the weapon bronze originally, so his boots. And I don't remember where else, but anyways, his boots for sure. Okay, so this is where I use a dark tone wash by the Army Painter. And this is for his fur cloak, which is I was trying to get a little bit darker looking. And this is where I finish off by using a soft tone from the Army Painter's Quick Shade washes. This is pretty much on the rest of them, including his hair, which then really comes out nicely. I just do his face again one more time just to make the highlights pop a little bit more. And of course his hammer. And to finish off, I think I use that Hunter Green again for the base, and I'm starting to notice that it doesn't come out very nicely with the Barbarian flesh. Anyways, used it here anyways, and I do add a little technical paint to it. As you can see, it's finished. And that's Brannog from Zombicide, Green Horde. Thanks for watching.